And there is the book of the moment, Fear. Bob Woodward's book on President Trump. It has been out for less than a day, and it's already the 5th best-selling book of the year on Amazon so far, and it's only one day. But thanks to pre-orders, 1 million copies have now been printed to keep up with demand. 1 million copies! And this is the most controversial so far, but there have been many in what one might describe as the industrial-sized industry of Trump books. So you had Fire and Fury, of course, from Michael Wolff. Then you've got those from journalists like Major Garrett of CBS News. You've got former administration and people from Corey Lewandowski. You've got just commentators born Trump. You've got both sides represented. Sean Spicer was the first press secretary. He wrote the briefing. Unhinged from Omarosa. That, of course, now, but look at that. It's already 30% off. In fact, even Fear has been reduced. This is a veritable library, and this is only part of it. So Donald Trump has clearly been good for the publishing industry. But has there been a difference in the type of books that are coming out, particularly with Fear? Ron Charles is a book critic with The Washington Post. I groaneth with the weight of books on Donald Trump. Is this somewhat remarkable, Ron Charles, that so soon into the presidency we have such strong, demanding works?
It is amazing, and I think it's hilarious that you can't even hold all the books already published about Donald Trump. He is probably the biggest thing to happen in publishing since 9/11. And
are the advances that I've had to put them down, the weight of it, my sciatica won't stand. Fear. Is this also somewhat different? Because what we're seeing here is a book that's becoming a touchstone, a lodestar, if you will, for criticism of the administration.
Yeah, we have not seen numbers like this very often. As you said, it's its first day of publication. It's in its 6th printing. There's 1 million copies printed already. Amazon.com is already sold out. You have to wait at least a week to get a copy now, if you want to order one from there. I just got a note from Barnes & Noble telling me they think this will be the biggest opening book of the year. This is just phenomenal.
So from your understanding, when a former administration, because let's face it, lots of people who were close by, nearby, once saw Donald Trump on a bus and now want to write a book about it, what's the criteria that you need to have, bearing in mind that, you know, Omarosa basically spilt the beans for everything from the Situation Room, and Fear is as gritty as it gets?
Right. Well, of course, Fear comes from the world's most famous journalist, so that's a totally unique book. Omarosa is an interesting case, though. She doesn't have a particularly important government position before she was fired or resigned or whatever happened to her, but she has been able to sell about 60,000 copies hardback, which is pretty amazing. And what she's so good at is keeping her book in the news week after week by releasing these little tidbits, little bits of tape, little bits of scandal. That's what it takes to keep the sales going. Or you need Donald Trump to keep condemning you on Twitter, because he is, regardless of what you think of him as a president, he is the world's greatest book publicist.
Finally, do these books make money? I mean, the advance... Look, the publishing industry is obviously loving it, yes, at one level. But with so many books, they can't all be making money. And you tell me the ratios of books that do versus don't. Fear will make money. Will Omarosa? Yes.
We don't know exactly what she was paid, so it's hard to tell. Sometimes the advances are very hard to reach because the advances are so large. Other times they get these books relatively cheaply, and they do okay. So it's a very hard calculation to make because we don't have all the information.
Finally, and you can plead the 5th if you insist, how many of these do you actually read?
I read relatively few of these. I tend to write about the news around them, the sales, that sort of thing. But we get experts at The Washington Post who write about these political books, not me.
Right, well, don't worry, Ron. I have a few here that I can pop in the post. Keep a look out in the mail. I'll send some down to you for some weekend reading. Thank you very much indeed.